Well, let's try this again, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome to the August meeting of the Oak Hills Park Authority. My apologies for a little late, but I guess what we say, better late than never. So I'd like to welcome you all to the August Oak Hills meeting and call to order. So I'd like to do the roll call, if I may, as I call your name, if you indicate you are here. So we have Richard Dellinger.
Here.
Robert Stowers.
Here.
TJ Trimboli.
Here.
Mary Verrill.
Here.
Jennifer McAllister.
Here.
We have a quorum, so I will start the meeting and thank you all. First order of business is the acceptance of... Jennifer, did I get you?
No, you didn't get me.
Oh, Denise, how could I forget Denise? I'm sorry. I've got a list of names here, but oh, there's Denise. My apologies, Denise. How could I forget someone as important as you are? Anyway, thank you all. A little flustered at the moment, guys. Anyway, acceptance of the minutes from our 2007 18th of July regular meeting. I'd like to move to accept the minutes. Could I have a proposer, please? Can someone propose that we accept the minutes?
We accept the minutes.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any changes that anyone would like to make to the minutes? Any errors or omissions that we see?
I do. The first thing that it says call to order, it says Mr. Andrasco, who was not at the meeting.
Correct.
So it should be Alan Dutton or Mr. Dutton.
On that same page, page 1, it also says acceptance of the minutes under staff. Please removed Jim Holiday. They should take the D off from remove Jim Holiday. And then also under public comment, it said Mr. Thomas Shocko to Mr. Thomas Sacco. It's S-A-K-O is how we spell his last name. And I think
C-O.
S-A-C-O. Thank you, Paul.
Double C.
It's actually, if we're going to get it correct, it's S-A-C-C-O.
2 C's.
S-A-C-C-O. And on the last page, under page 5, under the water restrictions update, it said about whether Silver Hills Golf Course had applied for this variance. It should be Silver Mine Golf Club. So those are the changes. Are there any other changes?
Just one more name, Alan, and that's on page 2 at the top. It talks about the volunteer, Chris Hulse, and his name is spelled H-U-L-S-E.
Okay, so there's no Y on that. Thank you, Richard. So with these changes, I would move to accept the minutes. All those in favor.
We have Joe's name more on page 2, Mr. Adrasky. I mean, I wasn't at the call last week, but I know that Joe wasn't. You got Mr. Adrasky on both
paragraphs.
Okay. Thank you, Jennifer. With these changes, I would like to move to accept the minutes. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any against? The motions are, the minutes are carried. Thank you. Item number 3, public comment. Do we have anybody in the waiting room of public comment, James? Jim, you're on mute.
I'm trying to prevent feedback, and let's see. No, there's nobody else. There's nobody in the waiting room.
Okay, then I'll close public comment. Item number 3 on our agenda. Number 4 is report to the chair. I don't really have a lot to say this month. We have received our fiscal 2023-24 final expense P&L accounts, and I'd just like to go on record of thanking everybody for the stellar year that we had in 2023-24. All the authority members, the staff, the golfers, or 50,000 rounds of them. And just some quick highlights for this year, just to see what, to tell you all what we did. I'm sure you all know, but we made $607,000 in operating income, which was more than the budget. We're actually $191,000 ahead of our budget for this last fiscal year, and that's really really excellent. I mean, compared to the year before, we actually made $80,000 more last year, but obviously there were staffing changes. We have a great general manager now, which is obviously really good. So so what do we do with this all this money that we make, this $609,000? So $130,000 of it went for debt service, paying the city of Norwalk the $2.15, whatever it is, around, plus the 1% of our total revenue goes to them. We paid $159,000 for our, the lease on the golf carts, and also Jim's lovely equipment that he uses to keep the course in such great shape. And of course, then we also spent $270,000 on all our capital for last year, which is a really, a good amount. And it still left us with actually a surplus of $48,000 after spending all this money. So, a great year, and thank you all for that. And that's all I have, pretty much, from the chair. Moving to the next item on the agenda, which is special reports. I'd like to, let's see if John Lloyd is here. I actually don't see John on the participant list. So I don't know if he got put off in the first 10 minutes or whatever, but I don't see him on our attendee list here. So I guess we will not have a report from John Lloyd. Nature Advisory, Mary Verrill, would you like to bring us up to date? What's been going on, Mary?
Oh, yes, lots going on. The Fountain Garden, the Lawn Center, as we're talking about working on that, I'm getting feedback. I don't know what that is. But I'll try to deal with it here. So Audrey Kozarian, Gary and Rich and myself met with Mike Papa from Artscape.
Excuse me, Mary, one second. You're logged on twice, so that might be your feedback.
Oh.
I see your name on here twice.
How do I do that?
I don't really know. Are you on two computers?
What happened was I couldn't get on my my regular computer, so I got on with my phone. Now I can't turn it off. I guess I have to turn it off with my phone.
There you go.
Well, that's probably your feedback.
Turn the power off on your phone.
Turn the power off on my phone. Got it. Yeah. Okay. Is that better?
Didn't do anything.
That help?
Your phone's still on.
I turned it off.
Well, you sound better.
You sound good.
Yeah, I'm not getting the feedback anymore.
Okay.
There's the proof that they're watching us all the time.
There you go. There you go. So anyway, we met with Mike Papa, who's principal in Artscapes. He's an organic landscaping guy, and we talked about the lawn area around the Fountain Garden and what we might be able to do with that. And we have some pretty exciting ideas about how to make that into a sort of a low maintenance demonstration lawn type of area. It's like an alternative lawn, and it uses sheep, azure blue sheep rescue grass, along with small wildflowers. I don't know if you can see this. He gave me a couple samples, but it kind of looks like this. See that?
That's difficult to see.
Well, anyway, it's a mixture of fescue, which is grass, daisy, wild thyme, baby blue eyes, clover, Johnny jump up, sweet alyssum, and it's a long alternative that I think is going to be coming into its own because it's low maintenance. You can mow it once or twice a season, and it's low water usage. So it's a great pollinator thing. So I think we're talking about. I'm trying to get a quote from them how much it's going to cost to put that in because I guess there are some water issues there. It's sort of he tested the area and it comes up as a wetland because the water doesn't drain very well there. So we're working on a couple of those issues, and I'm trying to get a price tag on it to see what it'll cost. But I think it would be a lovely demonstration area for the public, and you know, to see what can be done. So they're working on that, and then Jim took me around. I got a tour of the golf course. I had never been on the golf course. I had only been on the driveway, so it was quite amazing. I had no idea what a treasure that this golf course is for the city of Norwalk. It's quite amazing, quite amazing. Anyway, we toured it and we saw I saw what I would consider some action areas in the natural areas outside, you know, outside or next to the tees or next to the holes and such. And so I got a listing of them. And the first one we'd like to start to work on is around, I guess, the 11th tee, the 11th hole. Behind the tennis courts where the legacy tree, there's a legacy tree there that looks absolutely amazing. I couldn't tell what it was, but if we could start perhaps in the winter, you know, it's a good winter project to go through some of these natural areas and take out the vines, at least start to take out the vines that are overtaking. And we've got some absolutely magnificent areas that we can actually showcase also and continue to use as, you know, pollinator and wildlife friendly areas within the golf course. So it was very, very exciting to do that. And I've got the listing. It was the 14th tee, the 11th green, the 5th hole by the pond, and the ladies tee, the first hole over there. All those areas could use a little work, but all in all, it's pretty amazing. And so with a little bit of work, I think it could even be more fantastic. So I'm very excited. We're also working with the, we're continuing to work with the Norwalk Garden Club, Lori Morris and her group, and we're going to continue to do some more planting and mulching at the fountain garden and also making that kind of a focal point. You know, the hope is that, you know, people will come and have wedding pictures there and perhaps it'll bring people into the restaurant and, you know, make it kind of a destination area. And so it's coming. It's looking better already. So we're going to keep working on that. So that's what I know.
That's great. Thank you, Mary, for that report. Does anybody have any questions for Mary on the Nature Committee at all?
I'd like to know what the definition of a legacy tree is.
Jim's the one that told me that it was a legacy tree that somebody dubbed him, but we weren't sure who decided that. It's this huge tree. I mean, it's the biggest tree I've seen in Norwalk, honestly. And it was so tall I couldn't see the leaves to determine what kind of tree it was.
Yeah, I think that, excuse me, Mary, I think that it's an oak, and the term legacy tree was shared with us by the Connecticut arborist that came through. And evidently it's a term that actually farmers originated. And it's, you know, if you're clearing the land to create a farm, you would leave certain trees primarily for shade. And that tree is the one that is the most outstanding. It's quite difficult to see because of the vines, but so that's my understanding of what a legacy tree is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm 95% sure it's, well, 85% sure it's an oak.
Is it in a forested area or is it out in the open?
It's in the
It's out
forested
there.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jim H, why don't you take Jim S over there and show him stuff like that? That'd be great, I think,
I fully intend to.
Okay. Any other questions for Mary? I think John Lloyd has joined us. So John, if you're with us, if you'd like to, we'd be happy to chat to you if you're on. Can you?
Hi, folks. Yes, happy to see you, everyone, today.
Okay.
How's the audio? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Good. All right. Shall I crack on?
Yep.
Please do.
Okay. So I guess August. We are going through a bit of a transitional period these few weeks, where, as we all know, the college kids head off for their new semester. So we've had to say goodbye to Nina and Shay and Mason and Ford, and I'm sure quite a few others, all of whom have been great for the short time we've got to know them, and I'm sure they'll be back again next year. And even Elliot, who's our kind of second bartender, is leaving us this week to rejoin his business as it starts the new season. So we've done a lot of new hires in the last few weeks, and we've managed to cover their losses with people, all of whom show tremendous promise. So hopefully there won't be a dip in service. We've closed up the tennis season with I work with Barbara Cavalier, and she just texted me actually to say how appreciative they are of what we've done for them this year. We've provided delivered lunches, or not even lunches, I guess, tea service 3 times a week for 3 months. And from my point of view, I think it's helped forge new links for the tennis community, and I guess we look forward to continue the good work next year. For the business, August has been a slow month for the restaurant. We've implemented happy hour, and we've introduced some really high value food deals to entice the golfers in. And we're working closely with Steve Shepherd to identify ways in which we can improve our traction with the golfers. We've employed the services of a social media agency to help amplify our message. And the discounts we offer to local communities with the help of Jim Holiday clearly has lots of appeal. But there is a lot of work to be done to get people into the restaurant every hour of the day. And with outings, we've had 3 outings since we last met, Old Place, O'Neill's, and Matt Ness. O'Neill's chose not to engage Odean's for anything. Matt Ness used us for lunch, and proved to be a very successful event for them and for us, albeit with a degree of skullduggery taking place that we had to nip in the bud. But I had to draw attention to the example of the O'Neill's outing, because between Odean's, with Barbara handling all of the pre-event comms, and I know Steve was handling the Oak Hills side of it, the rules were clearly stated prior to the event so that a day could be organized that would fulfill the needs of the outing organizers and would fall within the law with regards to our liquor license and the collective insurance umbrella of Odean's and Oak Hills. But they kind of flouted the rules, and they brought in their own booze, and they openly distributed it in the parking lot prior to the event. Open coolers placed on the course and alcohol dispensed to each cart, a lot of heavy drinking, and we're just very, very kind of cautious and aware of how it does put us at risk in the event of an accident, and not to mention that we're staffing a full restaurant, and there's just no revenue on a day like that. So I guess we're interested to know whether Oak Hills plans on inviting O'Neill's to return next year, and what their example could potentially do to impact the good faith relations in organizing outings moving forward. It is worth saying that the outings we booked for the remainder of the year, 2 of them are new to the golf course and are happy to comply with some of the minor limits that we ask of them with regards to alcohol on the course. And the rest, I guess, are not being organized by the Norwalk restaurant cabal, so they're happy to go with Odean's for their food and beverage needs for the event, which is really how it should be, and in our view, why we're here in the first place. So that is the end of my report this month.
So, John, I'm glad that you're bringing this to the authorities' attention, because, and I think what I'd like to do is to probably sit down with you, maybe a couple of sit down with you, get some good information about this, and then we will take all the information and we'll look into it, and we will act accordingly, because I'm pretty familiar with, obviously, with both sides of the story and stuff like that, but. I'm really glad you bring this to our attention, and I will be get 2 or 3 of us on the the authority here to sit down and talk to you, get all the details, and then we will sit down with O'Neill's and have a conversation.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for John?
Just, John, I have one question. I know you brought in a couple bands in August. I want to know how those how the events went with, and you brought in some music for several weekends.
Yes, we had to cancel one because of the weather. It was just it was a complete washout. Was it 2 Fridays ago? So that was a dud. It's been a mixed bag, Rich. But we've got some strong acts coming up in the next few Saturdays, and I think we're very optimistic about how they're going to perform.
Thanks.
Any other questions for John? Thank you, John.
Let you know. Oh, sorry, Denise.
Sorry, Jennifer, go.
Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, John, I just wanted to let you know that I was at your restaurant Saturday evening with my husband and son, and
Good.
food was amazing, and it was a great experience.
Thank you for the nice feedback. Appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you.
And I
John.
just wanted to say, John, that being one of the people on the ladies tennis team, we were all very, very impressed on the great snacks that you brought. I mean, I think through all the years, and I've been with Oak Hills for 10 years playing tennis, I don't think we've ever had really such a nice selection, very fresh, and really, we had people from other clubs that are like, Tokenique and the higher level clubs saying, wow, this is really great. So we really did get a lot of positive feedback from the ladies that were coming and having the snacks from our team and everything. So it was great.
Well, it's
Thank
lovely
you.
to hear. Thank you. Thanks, Denise.
And I'm coming tomorrow with a couple friends, so tell me what to order.
Okay. What time are you coming? So I'll make sure you get stuff from the front of the fridge.
Probably around 5. We're the early crowd. We'll probably be there 5 or 5:30.
Okay, brilliant. I'll make sure they watch out for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, next report is the tennis report. Tennis from Denise, please.
Okay, hi, everybody. A couple of things here. So the plaque for Arthur has now been installed on the stone, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I'm so pleased with the plaque and the way that the stone was picked out. So it is sitting between the tennis courts and the patio. There's a little grass area. So hopefully whoever can come by and take a look at it. We have a projected date of October 5th for the dedication. It's not confirmed, but that's what we're looking to do, which I believe is a Saturday. And the people who installed the stone, I don't know them, but apparently they were friends of Art. And so they did the installation for free. And thank you, Jim Holiday, for your assistance in getting all that done. It was great. So that's one thing that's been completed. And let's see now. So we have, so the season's coming to an end, and that'll be by August 31st. And Jim, Jill, do you know that Clive is now gone for the next 3 weeks? Clive is out of there? Jim?
I did not know that.
Okay, so there's really nobody to monitor the watering system. And so, I mean, I know that when it's going to rain, we can have it shut off, but I don't know what kind of schedule it's on. And I didn't know if you could maybe just cruise by there this week and
Okay.
see what the schedule looks like.
Okay.
The office people do know
Didn't-
that they're supposed to shut it off when it waters. I mean, sorry, when it rains, but, you know, that's kind of like their limitations is like just to
Sure.
shut it off when it rains and
Right.
get it back on when it looks,
Right.
you know. So, so that's one of the things that, and Lucian's going to be gone too. So there's only going to be one pro there, for the next couple of weeks, and she's only going to be there sporadically to pick up some lessons and to do some clinics. So she's not even going to be there, you know, like all day like Clyde and Lucian used to be. So just letting you know that the staff will be shortened for as far as the pros are concerned. So we have a Labor Day tournament scheduled. It's September 2nd. This is, I think, our 4th year we're going into it. It's been successful, so hopefully it'll be another good season for it. It's one of those tournaments, it's a mixed doubles. They come that day, they sign up, and we play like a round robin. It's a lot of fun. We've launched a tournament this year, which is, we're calling it the Norwalk Open Championship. It's going to be September 7th and 8th. It's going to be 2 tournaments on the same weekend, one for men's doubles, one's for women's doubles. So we launched that. We've been sending out emails, and I've been in touch with different clubs, and you know, Kings Highway is also advertising it for us. We're not having a whole lot of feedback, so I don't really know what's going to happen. We do have a meeting this Saturday with the Friends of Tennis, so we will obviously talk about it and maybe kind of figure out how we want to go about, you know, if it doesn't really fan out. But it's the first year we're trying it. There's cash prizes, so we were hoping for a better response. Right now, there's just been kind of quiet. So we'll have to just see about that. And we launched our fall youth program. That will be after school. That's starting the 2nd week of September for 3 afternoons for 2 different age groups. I do have a pro. His name is Brian O'Rourke. Jim, you were following up with that, I believe. Jim Holiday?
Jim Holiday did follow through with his references, and they both spoke very highly of him and told him he'll be a great addition to run the fall program.
Right, thank you. Yeah, I worked with him a little bit last year. He was a sub for the program when Chris Mayotte couldn't do it. And so, you know, he's a good person that I felt like would come in and be able to handle the program. So that starts, and that's going to be for 7 weeks. I have that's starting to pick up in the registration, which is good. And that's kind of it for the moment. Our supporters, you know, we have our money that's sitting there for the fence project. I believe we just finished paying for the patio project and the walkways. So I think we're up to date with everything except when we have our new fence installed, I believe.
Thank you, Denise. Any questions for Denise and the tennis committee?
Denise,
I don't know.
what time is the dedication on 10/5 for the art plaque?
Yeah, Rich, what did we decide?
Well, 12:30, 12:30 noon, 12:30 on Saturday, the 5th.
All right.
But we haven't finalized it. It's still tentative, so we will invite all
Yeah.
the board members once that is finalized.
Perfect. But if I don't put it on my calendar, then I'll totally
Yeah,
forget.
you can put it on with the question.
Yeah, we have to announce it because there's many people from the city of Norwalk that would like to attend. So
Mhm.
from what we understand, there's we should have a fairly good turnout.
Thank you, Denise. Supporters of Oak Hills report Jerry, I don't see, is on at this moment in time, and Mark is not with us either, so probably no report from that particular area. Turning to item 6 on the agenda, which is management reports. The 4 reports were
Excuse me, Alan, excuse me, but Jerry
Yes.
has raised his hand, so
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see
I'm
him on the
going
list
to
here.
do
My
my-
apologies. My goodness, how could I do that?
Oh.
Could you let him in then, please?
didn't
Sure,
see
if
him.
I can
There he
find
is.
him.
Jerry Crowley raised his hand.
Yeah, where is he?
Under other attendees,
Yeah, I'm going through the list here, and
you see the attendees 1 under TJ Trimboli.
not on my screen. We do have 12 participants, and I wonder where he's hiding.
Click on the participants, Jim, and it should pop up on the right-hand side of your screen.
Participants on the right hand, yeah.
And it says
Yes.
attendees 1.
Yeah,
View
Anything?
full list.
I see him. Yeah, he's there under attendees.
Is he?
Yeah, I think you just have to click, hit on view full attendee list.
Yeah. Let me try this. I don't see view full attendee list. Oh, here, what about here? Oh. Jerry, allowed to talk. Jerry, you should be good to go.
Hey, Jerry.
You're on mute.
Jerry?
There you go.
Jerry?
Hmm.
He's muted and not by me.
Now he's on me.
Jerry?
So
Allowed to talk.
nothing coming through, right? Maybe he's it's a problem with the original. Maybe there was the 2 from the original thing that we started doing.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, Jerry, there you
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, I can't get video.
That's
The,
we had a lot of issues, Jerry, in the first 15 minutes of the meeting. And
I
stuff
know,
like
I know.
that. It was pretty
I've been
frustrating.
getting emails.
Right. So
I've got Zoom.
go ahead, Jerry.
Workplace.
My apologies.
Okay, no problem. So why don't I just give you, it's not a long report. Mark came up with the financial summary as of June 30th. Okay, and our total assets that we have in the supporters is $46,871.34. Okay, the revenue for the year that came in was a total of $40,417. Of that, about 99% was tennis. Only $500 went into the general fund. Okay, we had total expenses against that of $45,000 that we sent out. Probably that probably sounds pretty familiar to Denise. All right. And so we have a minus net income for the year, and we had enough money, that hasn't been expended, which is part of that 46,000 I mentioned up there. So, thank you to Mark for keeping track of all of this, and congratulations to the people that raised all the money.
So it's a great report, and obviously, thank you so much to the Friends of Tennis, and they do such a great sterling job in raising money in that area. And I think as we look further forward, it'll be interesting to see if we can apply some of the things that tennis does to the golf area as well. Just something to look at, I think, as we move further forward. Thank you, and Jerry, thank you for all for attending these meetings and what you do for us as well. It's really appreciated.
Okay, you're welcome, Alan.
Okay, any questions for Jerry?
I don't have a question for Alan, but I'd like to just mention something else about tennis, if I may.
Of course.
I don't know if any of you are tennis fans, but we have a very important person in the tennis world who is going to be at Oak Hills on Monday, August 19th between 4 and 6:30, and that's Sloane Stephens. Sloane Stephens is ranked number 45 in the world. She won the US Open in 2017, and she's going to be visiting to, I guess, watch a program that's called Six Love Tennis. It's run by a young man who learned how to play tennis in Norwalk, and he's made quite a name for himself with his community organization. And someone within his circle met Sloane Stephens at a tournament in California in the spring, and she has come from Florida. She's coming from Florida on Monday afternoon. And a number of us will be in attendance. I tried to get some more press, if you will, around this event, but it's not appropriate because it really is being done for the benefit of Six Love Tennis. But we will certainly let our community know that that she has been here, and hopefully it will benefit Oak Hills along with the other ancillary organizations as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on to the next item, the management reports. I think in the interest of time, I think all the managers, Mark is not here. I'll give a very brief report on the month of July. If the managers could just, any highlights they have on their reports, and then we could take some questions, I think. So, Paul Alexander, golf.
Okay, I'll need a few moments. So anyway, we're halfway through the season, or actually more than halfway through the season, and we've been really busy, extremely busy. The only time we're not busy is when we get a bad forecast or it's just too hot. And when it's too hot, we're still seeing people come in, younger people, and taking those tee times. So we've seen completely full tee sheets, no matter what day it is when the weather's great. Our utilization number has been 88% average the last 28 days. 50% of the days we have utilization rates of 95% or more. We've had back nine play. It's become so busy that we have players now booking for back nine play in the morning to make it a little easier for the accommodation of newer, more players, and also for our grounds crew to prepare the course in the morning. Our staff's decreasing. College kids what's back. We have 32 now, lost 4 recently. Sold 1,185 memberships since January 1. We normally max out a little over 1,200. We're down 45 memberships, but August 1, we started selling half-price memberships for the second half of the golf season. Last year, we gave a 30% discount after July 4th, something new at Oak Hills. I see that rounds are up 1%. Green fee revenue is up 5%. Cart rides and cart revenue are about flat. We had 5 days last week. Storm Debbie really hurt us a little bit. 10 outings this year. We have 8 more on the schedule, 3 new outings this year. And I want everyone to know that some of our outings on Monday, we just do not generate the revenue like we do on open play. For example, last Monday, just recently, we had 40% more revenue than the previous Monday with the outing. Both the Oak Hills Golf Association 18th week, we have a new club champ, Mike Nilsson, and also a new Oak Hills Women's Club champion, Nancy Leclerc. Both kind of new golfers here, both with first championships at Oak Hills. We had a Titleist Cobra Day, Callaway Demo Day, and that's when the club companies come. We can kind of see some of their equipment, their balls, their clubs, and it makes it a little difficult without a range, but the hitting bays have been really helpful for that. They bring launch monitors and some high-tech equipment for our golfers. Everything's really going good with Golf Now. I got some pretty good numbers. We could always share some more for you in the future, but Golf Now rounds are up 11%. Revenue from Golf Now is up 18.47%. The average price per round for Golf Now is up 7%. Our 60-head carts are really looking good, and we'll see a little bit of a draw back on golf rounds only because people are traveling, kids go back to school, football gets on the television, but again, it's been extremely busy, and it just seems like if someone doesn't want to play, there's always someone to come and take that tee time at Oak Hill. So very busy. And I will say there's some, Jim's been doing some nice stuff on the golf course. They're removing some brush around some areas that are in play. It's going to help with some nice pace of play and definitely make the course look a little better. And I've also, this Sunday will be my 15th week in a row where I do play with the pro. So basically, we save some tee times for the Oak Hill Men's Golf Association, and I just put my name in there, and I'm willing to play with anybody who wants to play with the pro. And that's been fun getting to know some people, and I think it's made some people happy. And other than that, things are going really good.
Thank you. Any questions for Paul?
Paul, is the play with the pro, is it a paid thing, or do you do it just to play?
No, I just put my name out there, goodwill, get to know some people, and try to play a little golf, you know, rather than works all the time.
It's nice.
That's something very common at a lot of clubs, at all the clubs that I've ever worked at. It was part of my job. And I just always thought it's an important thing to do.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Next report, the superintendent, Jim, and I think you're also going to talk in other business, new business, about the irrigation water update and, you know, just the bunker project. So
You want me to wait to talk about those?
yeah, let's do it at the end quickly, or whatever. Just anything you've got for this on your current
Okay.
report.
Well, the course is in good shape. I mean, considering that we had a pretty heavy water restriction since we got the vote to use city water as needed. We've had a lot of rain, which is great because we've also had a lot of recovery. There may not be that much to do to rehabilitate some of the fairway spots that really got dinged up. There will be some spots, but it won't be as bad as I thought it might be. Otherwise, everything is gonna wait for later in the meeting. Any questions?
Any questions for Jim?
Jim, I just had a question about the hydrologist that came by. Did he have any recommendation for Oak Hills in terms of the watering and drills and wells or anything like that?
That's what I'm waiting on to discuss that in
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, Rich, and the irrigation water
old
update.
business, new business.
New business.
Oh, got it. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Jim. Mark is not with us. You know, we did get July's numbers in, and it's a really good start to the fiscal year. The net operating income was $178,000, which was basically $47,000 better than budget. Our revenue was $47,000. Our expenses were $2,000 up. We're actually $45,000 to the good compared to budget in the first month. So when Mark gets back, he'll distribute those numbers. But you know, a good start to the month for us. I don't know if anybody has any questions on the July numbers. Obviously, when you get the actual P&Ls, it'll be easier for you. But anyway, that's just a quick financial update. And last but no means least, our Venerable General Manager, James Holiday, report of the General Manager.
Thank you, Alan. I'm trying not to spend money. I promise you, I really am. Mark doesn't think I'm doing a very good job at that. At any rate, I'll just touch on one thing, and that's the LED project. We are going to be replacing about 385 light fixtures, including all the parking lot lights, lights in all the buildings, lights on the outside of all the buildings with LED fixtures. And it's a wonderful program because we're not going to have any, although there's a 5-year loan because of the amount of money involved, we don't have any net out-of-pocket expense because it's all going to be paid by savings in our monthly Eversource bills. So I've been working on that since February, and it's finally coming to fruition. So I'm very excited about that. The rest of it's just all the stuff that I do on a daily basis. It's in the report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to talk to you offline or this evening. Thank you, Alan.
Any questions for Jim?
Just curious, Jim, any of those lights at the tennis center, or are they all on the driveway and parking area?
They are
Don't have
all
any
in
lights.
the Yeah, there's only two outside lights, Rich, and they're in the soffits of the tennis building. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad you mentioned that, and we do have both a pre and a post survey by Eversource, so I will get them to change those fixtures as well. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, no, I was hoping the lighting's not great there, so I was hoping that would be something we could look at.
I'll make a note.
Thank you. Moving to item 7 on the agenda, which is old business, new business. The first item there is the first T's proposal update. And just to remind the authority, we did, myself and Gary Leeds and TJ Trimboli and Paul did meet with the representatives initially, and we thought it'd be good to give the committee an update. So TJ, I know you've been waiting a while. If you would like to give us an update on that, that would be great. Thank you. Hopefully, TJ, are you with us?
Yep, there we go. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, so I guess I can give the high level overview of what we got, and then what the first T shared with me and what I know, and would be more than happy to answer some maybe initial questions, or at least maybe get some initial questions from everyone. But really wanted to just give everybody an understanding of what it is and what the proposal or potential proposal could look like. And then obviously we as an authority can talk through it. So Alan, I did miss last month's meeting. Did you give everybody an understanding of what the first T is, or no?
Not really, no. I didn't do anything, TJ, to be honest with you.
Okay, sure. So then I'll just share a little bit about it. So the first T program, so they're headquartered in Cromwell, and really what they look to do is to bring golf to the youth and the community, to kids that don't necessarily have the means or the opportunities to get involved in golf. And that's really their big, that's really what they do as it relates to their programs. They are a national program. They have affiliates all over the country. And what they are looking to do is they're looking to expand their Connecticut footprint to Fairfield County. And they have a very small footprint in Bridgeport at Fairchild Wheeler. But they're really looking to do something a lot bigger, like what they have up in Cromwell. And they approached us, and they thought that Oak Hills might be a really good candidate for what they're looking to do. And really where it would be, or what they're looking at it as, would be a win for Oak Hills, a win for the first T, and also, I think most importantly, a win for the kids in the community around where we are. And so we met with Rochelle Hakim and Mark Moriarty, and they then sent me something of a small proposal of what it could possibly look like. But really what they're looking to do is to come in and really look at expanding Oak Hills facility. And I think that what, at least my talks with them, is where they see the biggest value is being able to put in a facility that includes a driving range, includes practice facilities, includes just a lot of different things where kids and groups could come and really use a facility like the one that they have in Cromwell, and their one in Cromwell is really big. So the first T is done. They've done some due diligence on Oak Hills, on the land, on a bunch of different things around it. And really what they're looking to do is come in and partner and really provide most of, if not all of, the capital to be able to fund a project. And Oak Hills would benefit from it from the perspective of anybody that comes to Oak Hills would have access to the facility. First Tee would be able to use the facility for their programs for the youth to be able to attract the youth from around Fairfield County to Oak Hills. They have talked about, or I guess part of the plan would be putting in specific bays and areas for Paul to be able to use for his teachings. So it's not to take anything away from what Paul does and Paul's, his, let's just say his income and all the things that he does up there. It's really to try to partner and enhance all that he's doing there as well. So I think that it's in the very, very, very early stages. They're just floating some ideas out. They really want to get into Fairfield County. They really feel like Norwalk is a great place to do so because it is really a hub for a lot of other towns. And they feel like they could do some stuff with Oak Hills. They're very, very creative in terms of like what they think that they can possibly do. So that's what I have. That's sort of all of where it is right now. There's really nothing been talked about in terms of details or numbers or anything like that. It's just more of, does Oak Hills want to potentially look at partnering with the First Tee, a really, really good organization for the community. And I think, at least from a golfer perspective, they could potentially bring in some really good enhancements as it relates to practice facilities when it comes to Oak Hills. So that's sort of the report that I have. And like I said, more than happy to answer any questions or at least maybe give my thoughts on certain things.
I think there's a lot involved in this particular project, a lot of different areas that we're just kind of scratching the surface at the moment. Obviously financing, what does the city think about this? There's a lot of work that has to be done, but I think it may be worth, we have a small group at the moment of Gary, myself, and TJ, happy to add to that, any other authority members to maybe explore further if there are any synergies here, if this will be good for us. I think it's worth looking into from my point of view, but please, I'd open it up to any questions to any authority members at this moment in time.
So Robert, I would like to join the group because as you stated, there's a lot of things to consider from the city's standpoint, but also looking at really the feasibility and what have they done so far. I know that TJ, you mentioned some things. Have they done a market study, a market demand study? How would they recruit the youth? Those are some of the things that I would have questions on, but also, what is the potential and what is the likelihood of putting additional facilities at Oak Hill? So it's something I'd like to be involved in. And,
great, we love it.
That'd be great. We'd love to have you, Robert. We really would, with your expertise of what's going to happen and stuff like that. That would be great. Any other thoughts, anybody?
I'm just curious, Paul, what's Paul's thoughts were in terms of the program?
I would say, we're extremely busy. We got a lot of kids. We do 46 clinics, junior golf schools, everything. I would say it'd be great as long as it doesn't, impede, maybe it'll help our business. I think it's going to come down to, are they going to really, City of Norwalk going to let them go in and do some site work, cutting trees and moving rocks and blasting. But, this is done all over the United States, so it's definitely feasible.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Anybody else have any other comments at this moment in time? I think
it would be, I'm sorry.
Go.
I just think it would be a very extensive project because, for you to say, Paul, that they would be moving trees and rocks and all sorts of things. So they'd be utilizing land that we kind of just have as it's just natural in its own environment. And they'd be looking at everything to kind of find some more space, I guess, for the projects. right?
I would say we have a range that we use for lessons. You can't hit it more than 160 yards. We call our golf balls hitaways because half of them get hit once and they're gone forever in the woods. And so if anyone's ever seen Chelsea Pier in New York City, it'd basically be a cage, like a bird cage, like a big shoebox, probably with lots of netting. Because there's only, I only believe one place at Oak Hills that might be allowed to do that at the moment is where we are at the moment.
I think we need to, before we jump to any conclusions about what, etc., we need to, meet with them again and get some further ideas and stuff like that. So I would suggest that we would, obviously the three of us and Robert could meet, have a second meeting with First Tees and just explore further if we're okay with that. Any thoughts on that, guys? I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they knew that I was going to speak tonight, and so I was going to give them some feedback from tonight. And really what tonight was about was just putting it out there, and nothing is definite. Obviously, it's not something where they're looking to come in and just do a few programs here or there with the current facility the way that it is. They're very, very excited of what they think could be possible for Oak Hills. Again, no idea if it's even possible or not, but they've, like I said, they've done some due diligence on it. They've done their research on it, on the property, so on and so forth. They've even floated some ideas of like possibly building, Jim, a new maintenance facility where the driving range is right now and putting it over there and getting rid of the old maintenance facility because it's really old and maybe utilizing that space for something. So again, nothing is definite. They're just literally trying to figure out, what could be possible.
Sure.
And they're really excited about it because they think that it could be a really good opportunity for the community and for them to get a footprint in Fairfield County. And the work that they've done, at least like I've seen the Cromwell facility that used to be nothing and now is an unbelievable facility. But this is a really big organization with a lot of money behind it. They raise a ton of money. And I do think it's something worth at least exploring. And if it's good with everyone else, then I'll reach back out to them and maybe after Labor Day, like sometime in September, try to get all of us to meet with them. Yeah. And I'm sure that's where, that's all they're looking for. They just want to keep the conversation open and figure it out if it's even possible. And if it is, then, the details come more and more. And if it's not, then it's not.
Yeah.
And TJ, I'd ask you to quarterback this for us as you've done already. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. Any other comments, anybody?
I just have one other question. If Fairchild Wheeler is doing it today and it's a small footprint, do we know why they chose a smaller footprint? Has anyone spoken to Fairchild Wheeler in terms of how it works for them?
Yeah, so the only thing they really do is they go in there and they run some youth clinics for Fairchild Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what they're doing there. What they want to do more of, or what the presence that they want in Fairfield County is, they want something more like their Cromwell facility. And not that it would be as big, but that's what they're envisioning for Fairfield County. And because obviously between Wilton and Darien and New Canaan and Greenwich and Fairfield, like there's a lot of people that have a lot of access to golf, but then you take Norwalk and Bridgeport and Stanford and even areas of Greenwich, and Norwalk's a really good central location to a lot of those places where a lot of those kids, let's just say, don't have access to a lot of the private clubs that are there. And that's really like their thought process for down here. So, but like I said, it's so early right now. I mean, we've had one lunch with them and I think that, I think they would welcome another conversation and see where it goes.
That's great. Okay. TJ, thank you very much for that.
You got it. Thank you.
So another couple of quick items here, Jim, probably just an update. We did have a call today with a geologist, a hydrologist, which was really interesting. And then just maybe a quick bunker update, Jim. So if you just bring us up to date on that, Jim Shell, would be great. Thank you.
Sure. So the trend with golf courses is everybody's trying to find their own water instead of paying municipal water company to irrigate their course. And it makes sense. I mean, if we did that, I think that the costs of doing it would be paid off within 2 to 3 years, no problem. And the person in particular that we talked to, he's got a lot of golf course experience. That's primarily his thing. And talking to him today, he's got every one of my confidences that he could do the job. But that's not really the question. The question is, do we want to pursue it at that cost? And he works for Stanwich Club where I used to work, and I had a quick chat with my old boss there today. And they drilled 4 wells at roughly a cost of $25,000 a piece. They used 2 of them, but they got, I think it was 165 gallons a minute out of both of those wells, because they're building a new 9 holes at Stanwich, which is more than enough than they need to water it. And I think it would benefit Oak Hills greatly for the long term to have our own water supply. You know, if we could get a permit to use 200,000 gallons per day by the state and hardly ever have to draw from city water, it pays for itself within a couple of years, I think. Also, as far as the bunker project, I did speak to them late after I wrote the report, the day that I wrote the report, and we're expecting the bunker project to start somewhere between September 10th and September 15th. They'll work on all the bunkers first, and after our last big outing, the Whittingham, they will go to work on the 2 tees that we are expanding. And we're really looking forward to that, because man, our tees they just take a beating. So anybody have any questions?
Jim, I'll just amplify, you know, Jim Shell, Jim Holiday, myself did a Zoom call with the hydrologist, this guy, and he's the guy. He does every single search for water in the Northeast. He's so knowledgeable, and it's a question of, is there any water underneath here? And there's certain steps that one has to take, and there's different costs involved with each. So we've asked him to give us some paperwork just to see. So it is the way to go, I think, because, you know, if you're paying $100,000 for city water, and you have the ability to, you know, drill these, but there's no guarantees. That's the other thing, you know, there's no guarantees. So
that's just it. At Stanwich, they drilled 4 and they used 2, but they produce more than enough that they need.
Right.
So
but we'll just, you know, obviously keep everybody involved in what's going on, but I think it's based upon what happened at the beginning of this year, you know, with this season with the water, it's the way to go. Does any questions for Jim on these issues?
Jim?
yeah,
Will this interrupt regular playing time when not the drilling, the bunker project? Will that interrupt any playing time?
it may. I spoke briefly about working in play, and they said there are certain situations, like on hole number 13, when they do that bunker right in front of the green, that's kind of going to be tough for them to do the work while people are hitting at them all day long. So we may have to come up with some kind of temporary green or some solution to make that so they can still play 18 holes, whether it be complete or not. We have to do something on certain holes.
Everybody gets a birdie.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, going back to the water, we're projected to spend about $58,000 this year on city water. So if, you know, we can drill for $25,000 plus, you know,
It's gonna
we would.
That's
No,
just
that's just the beginning, but I'm just saying, if you're saying it could pay for itself after 2 to 3 years, you're talking about $150,000 to $180,000 that
Yep.
we would pay out to the city.
exactly.
So
Right.
we would not, after that, we wouldn't have to be eating it up anymore.
And there would be expenses in maintaining the wells. I mean, of course,
Right.
They're metered, so I know that those meters have to be sent in every winter to be calibrated again. And there's obviously possibly fracking costs to get back the numbers that you originally had the well putting out. There's lots of there's general maintenance that is required for a well.
Right.
Yeah.
You
As we
know,
just
but
did out of tennis.
but I think that, you know, with what we know about the weather, we either get rain or we get heat. So, you know, the places heating up, and, you know, they're gonna be more and more, especially in summertime, they're in our peak times, they're gonna be more and more calls for us not to use city water or
Right.
to
The
so I
demand
think-
the demand in Norwalk is not going to drop.
no, and you
It's
got
only going to go up.
yeah, and you got
Right.
you got Norwalk growing at about what 3%, 3 to 6% a year. So that's more water for people who come in they're building condos and stuff. So the strain is going to be there, and it's going to be hot. And so I think, you know, to invest, you're not always successful, but you gotta try to find a solution for this and become a little bit more independent.
Right.
Thank you, Robert. Any further questions on these issues? Okay, last item on the new business. I do apologize. The scheduled meeting in September was the 19th. Unfortunately, the chair of the authority and the vice chair of the authority are kind of not available during that time. So not that that's the end of the world, of course, but I would like to reschedule, and I pulled out a date of Tuesday, September the 24th. I don't know if it works for everybody. We can have Jim send out and see, and provided we can get a quorum, etc., we could do it then. So I just wanted to put that out to people. If they have a chance to change their calendars accordingly, that would be the date of the September meeting, September 24th. Okay. Is there anything else under old business, new business, anybody like to talk about? I do apologize for the beginning of the meeting. We'll kind of take a look and see what happened. To hope that I do try and keep the meetings as short as possible. I didn't meet my goal this time, but it's good to have the discussion that we've had. Thank you all for attending and being here. I'd like someone to move to adjourn, if I may. Do I have someone propose it?
I'll move to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye. No.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, guys.
Thank
Night.
you. Good
Good night.
meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good weekend.
Thank you.